The first few days of your campaign are critical in order to determine its success. So you wouldn't want to launch on a weekend when you know that everyone's going to be busy. But you should also be careful about launching on a Monday. A recent study examined almost 8,000 projects on JD crowdfunding and used regression modeling to determine the presence of a blue Monday effect in crowdfunding. Specifically, the authors of the paper found that Monday was the worst day of the work week in terms of new funds raised, number of new backers, and average backer pledge. And this effect is present for all project types, but is especially acute for technology ones. The effect is most pronounced for the first week and reduces in impact after that. So launching on a Monday could mean your campaign doesn't get off to a strong enough start, and that may limit your chance of success. A good tip is to consider minimizing the number of Mondays in your campaign. So, for example, you could launch on a Tuesday. Tone is discussed a lot in the crowdfunding literature, and the general consensus is that you want to be positive, but not too positive. A recent study explored just over 181,000 projects on Kickstarter between 2009 and 2020. The authors first computed the tone for both story and risk sections of the Kickstarter page using a regression model that depends on several factors that are contextual to each campaign. The kind of thing: number of previous projects, number of collaborators, number of friends, number of rewards, those kind of things. Using this model, they were then able to determine what they call abnormal tone using the residuals of the regression model. In everyday language, someone using abnormal tone is prone to hyperbole, and they overstate their case to make the project sound better than it is. It's kind of like the difference between saying back my awesome comic book and back this iconic bespoke graphic novel through this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The authors found that abnormal tone in the story section was negatively associated with project success. However, abnormal tone in the risk section was positively associated with funding success. So the lesson here is to be positive, but not too positive when you're writing out the story section. And in the risk section, be as positive and effusive as you possibly can be. Overfunding happens when you hit your funding target before the end of the campaign, but continue to receive pledges. Now, this could happen because your project is hugely popular, but it can also happen when you set your project goal too low. A recent study on this examined daily data over 5,000 different projects and found that backer herding effects were strongest as the project reached its funding goal, but typically died off in the overfunding phase. This means if you set your goal too low, you have a good chance of getting funded, but you might not actually receive as much overall funding as you would have if you were to set a bigger funding goal. The result is that creators should think carefully about setting their goals to make sure they don't end up with a successful campaign, but ultimately lose money. One way to stimulate herding behavior in the overfunding phase can be the use of stretch goals, since this essentially introduces a new goal for backers. Provided the stretch goals are attainable and have perceived value, they should help sustain backer herding behavior to raise the overall funding total. So this is why it's important to have a strategy for your stretch goals.